everyone. We are back with Olga show, back in San Jose, California, Team Draper. I see you quite often, which is nice.
Olga, probably too many times for them.
And a lot of updates and what's happened. It's like I saw your father at Korean conference. He
Yeah,
did a great
yeah,
job. He got an
Go
award.
global.
Yes, Be Global,
yeah, Be
second
Global,
award.
yeah.
And actually, we would like to do an interview with him too, because what a great man I found more being a fighter in Korean War and helping Koreans.
Yeah, he did.
And that's amazing story, wonderful. So, but who is your hero? Is your father?
Oh, absolutely. My father, I've got several heroes. My father is clearly an amazing man who's done extraordinary things for the world in lots of different ways. So he's a great man that I can really try to emulate over the next, whatever, 30 or 40 years. My other heroes are really Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. And it's because they understood all these interesting technologies that are coming together, and they said, they put a stake in the ground. Steve Jobs said, one button for the iPod. One button. And engineers kept coming back and saying there's 4 buttons or 6 buttons. He goes, get out of here, I want one button for the iPod. And then he built the iPad. Everyone was trying to do a platform like that, a PDA or whatever. And he built this thing in a way that no one would have really thought how to build it. So Elon Musk says, we're going to Mars. And all of a sudden SpaceX, most of the people start thinking he's crazy. And then all the great engineers surround him and say, how are we going to get to Mars? And they start thinking about it. And as we're going to Mars, we're coming up with all sorts of new technologies. We're thinking about how space can affect us. We're satellites, and microsatellites in space now. He's really done amazing things. So those two, and my dad, who's really done a lot for the world and kept a very low profile. There are not many like him.
Now, talking about Elon Musk, they got good funding from government, so they will be taking space shuttles into the space, actually, so that was very good.
Yeah, well, they got good funding from government for the Tesla, too, and we, Californians, lost all those jobs because Nevada was more willing to attract him to Nevada. Now, if we had 6 Californias, these people in Central California might have self-governed in such a way that all those jobs would go to Central California. We have huge unemployment in Central California. Those people are, unemployed. They have the worst K-12 education system, one of the worst in the country. It's very impoverished, and it's all under the current regime. They will all be better off. Yeah, and if you are poorly educated, your odds of going to prison are much higher, and then it's a cycle of pain and misery that you are creating. With 6 Californias, each of these new states can perform at its highest potential. And we, people of California, can choose which state we want to be a part of so that we get the best service for the best price.
Yeah, I see your new tie.
My new tie, 6 Californias. It used to be Save the Children ties. Now it's 6 Californias.
6 Californias. And, well, I was one of the first media who found out about that decision you decided to work on until make it happen. And you put it already on the ballot. I guess it's coming.
No, we had, we got enough signatures, but then they threw out about 40% in the vote, in the count. And so now we're right on the edge of whether we are going to be on the ballot or not in 2016. I certainly hope we are going to get it on the ballot. They have a lot of arcane laws that make it very difficult for you to get something onto the ballot. That's beyond getting the signatures, getting the enthusiasm, getting the money, whatever it is. They make it really complicated when it doesn't have to be. I started out saying, well, we can get digital signatures by now, right? And oh no, those don't count. And then you say, oh, okay, well then I'll just send out emails and then people can print it out, sign it, send it back. No, no, it has to be a certain size of paper with a certain size of font that is only done by 3 printers in Sacramento or something. It's 14 by 17 sheet of paper. Does your printer print 14 by 17 sheets of paper? No, neither does mine. So basically we had to do it all by hand with signature gatherers out there in the field. And we got them. We got 1.2 million, and now they're counting them, and they're saying, no, they're only going to be 750,000.
Well, the difficulty is sometimes that if people sign on the stand, and then signature maybe wouldn't be the same, because they do have to verify signature. I'm the manager for.
You do one
during
of this.
election.
You know more
No,
about
I'm
this
not-
than you should.
Yes.
See, it's ridiculous. Why isn't this all digital? Why isn't it digital signatures? Why isn't it digital voting? They're all more secure. and
Secretary
all
of
of us in
State.
all of us in the work world would really appreciate not having to take a whole day off or a half day off to go vote. I mean, it's very secure. There's a company called Everyone Counts that has a signature.
Phone and stuff.
No,
but
no, that allows digital signatures and for voting, or digital voting. And it's only allowed now for military who are off in outside of the US. That's so far all that anybody's allowed, but I don't know why we're not doing it. And if we had a state of Silicon Valley, that would be the first thing that this state would do.
I think if you would like to have a tour in Santa Clara County Election Office.
Oh, no, where they've got CRT screens from 1980 that they're all working off of,
Well,
and they're,
look like it could be business idea for you. You know, as an investor, for you, it's like you
I
see the
know, I
problem, you
look
find
for,
a solution.
you bet, you bet. You look for a problem, you see, what would an entrepreneur do here?
You
They
just
would
fix
create
it.
a new state
And then
to
could
compete with the existing system, or to make it better.
could be something new can be done there.
Yeah.
So think about it, because yes, they are a little bit behind in using ancient rules, but at the same time, now you step in and you can see all of the steps it takes, and who knows, if you change the steps, maybe it would be easier for all. And newcomers, because yes, everybody has the phone, they can vote by phone.
I think it's a plan.
Check it out.
Good.
Now, I would like to know if in Russia knows about your 6 states idea. And if
I think
did,
they do.
and if you had opportunity to do that, or if we should put it in subtitles and put in Russian media for that. I guess I teach you Russian first.
Yeah, yeah, you better teach me Russian so I don't slip up a little bit there.
Right.
But I think Russia could benefit a lot by something like this. Having states that have to make it, improve themselves for the benefit of the constituents, for the benefit of the people of Russia. Those governments should be thinking, what is in the benefit, the best interest of the people in Russia? Is it to invade Ukraine? I don't think so. Is it to create an environment of great entrepreneurs? I think that's a good way of operating. Is it to maybe be the leader in a new currency like Bitcoin? Maybe that's a good opportunity for Russia. I think whenever you have sort of a dictatorship or a monopoly or a oligopoly that is making decisions for all of a country, those decisions do not always benefit all of the country. They usually benefit the people making the decisions, and they definitely don't provide the best service for the lowest price for their constituents. So I would say yes, this kind of thing should happen in Russia, and there should be a good, healthy competition at the top, and there should be a good, healthy competition maybe for various states of Russia, various parts of Russia. So yeah, I'm hoping that 6 Californians becomes an example for people all over the world, and it shows that government has gone from land-based dictator or land-based monopolies to generally virtual and choice. So we, the people of the world, we can choose what country we want to be a part of and what government we want to support. I could maybe go to Russia and become a Russian citizen. You could come to the United States and become a U.S. citizen. We can change if our government is not performing. I think governments have yet to start thinking, I better do a good job or people will leave my country. And as language gets more universal, you will feel just as comfortable in any place around the globe down the road. And so those governments are really going to have to compete to improve for us because we're going to have a choice. And I think that is the kind of governments that we are going to see in the future.
But a few years back, I heard and I saw everywhere, united we stand. So what can you say about that?
Oh, well, I think that's, it's usually a union slogan, or it's a patriotism slogan. I think patriotism is a nice thought, and it's sort of a good thing to feel, and it's sort of like vote for our team. But, and I think you want to fight for your team, you want to be a part of your team. But if you see that there is another team that's really just going to be better for you, you will leave and go be a part of that team. And I think it's better for the entire world if we are thinking in terms of that kind of flexibility.
Now,
You don't want to have blind patriotism. You don't want to have patriotism for no reason. You can have patriotism, but it should really support a noble, a higher calling or a higher cause. So, I mean, when they were talking about United We Stand, they're probably thinking, yeah, we are this amazing free country, and people can say whatever they want on TV, on wherever. It's free speech, it's free religion, a lot of great things are here, and yeah, we want to fight for that. We like that. But are we saying, yeah, we're patriots and we want to fight to have bigger bureaucracies where the government is a bigger and bigger share of the GDP? No, I don't think that's what we're all fighting for. Do we want to fight for a place that has the most prisons and the most prisoners in the world? No, I don't think that's something we want to fight for. Is it something that, do we want to fight for a place that is allowing our K-12 students, our children, to be educated in one of the worst systems, or, it's in a system that continues to get worse over time? No, I don't think that's something I'd get behind as a patriot. So I think people's patriotism is really tied to their ideals and their values and their hopes and dreams for their country. And if those hopes and dreams are dashed by that country, their patriotism is blind, or they will move their patriotism to another place. I mean, I've always rooted for the Giants in San Francisco and the Warriors and the 49ers, but I've been, and for Stanford, but then when my kids went to UCLA and USC, I started to root for those teams. So, your patriotism goes just so far before you realize that it's in your best interest to help another country or another government or whatever.
Now, when you're talking about bitcoins and globalization, bitcoins actually helping globalization.
Yeah.
And at the same time, not everybody is trying to stay careful. Not everybody, but of course, regulated companies and organizations and countries.
Right. So here's what's happening. Bitcoin is open right now, and when the internet was open, the U.S. was smart enough to let it go and not regulate it and not get too heavy-handed with it and let it ride. And so we got the benefit. In the U.S., we got the benefit of all of these internet companies And all of that economic value, it all came here. All that productivity all came here because the U.S. was smart enough to hold back on regulating the internet. With Bitcoin, if the U.S. does the same thing, then all those companies will be here. But already the U.S. is saying Bitcoin's being regulated as an asset. Well, look, it's being treated as a service in Singapore and in Korea and in about 5 or 10 other countries. So all that economic value is going to go to those countries because they are treating it in a much more free and open way. And so when it's free and open, that's where all the money's going to go, that's where all the investment, all the companies are going to start there, and we're going to miss out. So when you start thinking, hey, let's regulate it, what that really means is, I've been listening to all these bankers who are trying to protect their business. These bankers are saying, oh boy, this is scary. I got big fees, and if Bitcoin doesn't charge these big fees, my customers would be much better off with Bitcoin, but I don't know if I would. Because I'm getting 2.5% on every transaction on a credit card, or I'm getting, I'm loaning money at these huge rates, and I'm getting a much better deal. I'm making transfer payments across country lines with huge commissions or arbitrage, big opportunity. I don't want Bitcoin coming and taking all that away from me, and so I'm going to go to the government and whine about it and make them regulate Bitcoin the way they regulate me.
So it's some sort of monopolization right there.
So the monopoly's operating with the other monopoly. The oligopoly's operating with the other oligopoly, and they're saying, oh, well, maybe we need to regulate it. I think that would be a huge mistake for America. I think that kind of regulation could stop progress in Bitcoin here. And so all of our investment dollars will go to Korea or Singapore or anywhere else where they're open to new Bitcoin. Japan, I think there are a lot of countries that are all saying, hey, we'll take it. Iceland.
Now, when you were saying that Bitcoins can go to $10,000 per transaction.
No, per Bitcoin. I'm saying the price of a Bitcoin now is like $440. It will go to 10,000 in 3 years. I'm predicting that it goes past 10,000 in 3 years. And there are a lot of reasons for that. But as all of these companies, all of this infrastructure starts to be built, it's not built yet. So people are going, what's Bitcoin? Why do I want that? I don't care. Once it's all built, you may not even know it, but you're using Bitcoin. You're going to be sending rubles back to Russia, and they're going to be going through Bitcoin transfer, and you won't know it, but it'll be cheaper. And you're going to be using Bitcoin you're going to swipe your credit card, and you're going to think, oh, it's just a credit card transfer. No, it's going to be a cheaper transfer, and it's going to be much faster and much more accurate because of Bitcoin. You're going to make deals with people, and instead of having a whole bunch of lawyers around and accountants to take care of it, you're going to have Bitcoin, and it's going to be on the blockchain.
Well, just like cloud virtualization, that a lot of transaction was happening in virtual world, while we regular customers didn't know where. Yeah,
we didn't know why it was coming. We were just noticing we're getting better service.
Right, and more connections, and it's cheaper, so that was good part of it. And then it became big words. Okay, let's do cloud. And let's use it for regular customers because you can save photos in the cloud. Now, in terms of Bitcoins, why it would be 10,000? If it's 1250 or around gold price, I understand that you can compare Bitcoin with gold value. But here's 10,000 with a value of what, Tesla car price? Or, I'm sorry, just or something. What was the 10,000?
How do I come up with 10,000? Well, ultimately, if Bitcoin is the currency and the stored value of the world, then Bitcoins are worth more than $1 million each because of the world economy and how much it grows and all that stuff. I don't think it gets there. I think there will be competitions from fiat currencies and other virtual currencies, and I think those things will happen. I just know that with more use, Bitcoin will spread faster. Gold will have less use. Gold continues to have less use. We used to trade gold for something, right? Here's a gold
Right.
coin for something else. That now gold is just stored value for people. They don't walk around with gold. You do, but it's
Yeah,
on your
well,
bracelets.
some, yeah.
But you aren't using those to buy a cheeseburger.
No.
No, but people used to
Would be
use
nice.
gold for food, and they'd carry around bags of gold, and then it got too heavy, and then it was the promise of gold, and that was like a gold note. And then they ran out of gold, and so then it was silver certificates, and then it was, we don't have enough gold or enough silver, but we'll give you the full faith and credit of the US government, which is the Federal Reserve note. And so each time it's been one more level of abstraction. And then it's credit, like a credit card. I'm promising to pay you. There's nothing behind a credit card. It's just this plastic thing you're swiping, and it's going to come out of your bank account. And your bank account, there's nothing there. It's just this, it's really virtual currency now.
Right.
So Bitcoin is the same thing. It's a deal. You and I, we make a deal. Bitcoin transfers, it's done.
Nice and easy, with less fees. Now, in terms of your childhood, I heard that presentation you did with Tony Perkins at Always On.
That's a fun one. That was fun. Tony is so great.
And apparently you grew up together, sometimes sneak out of the school together. And what's your most...
Yeah, we learned a lot when we snuck out of the school.
Well, that's called life
That's why
school.
I'm trying to create a school where you learn a lot when you're there.
And, well, you did very good. I guess somebody was working and you bring you back to the school, and you know the school is important. Your memorable childhood stories. What's yours the most memorable childhood story?
I think the one I should tell you about is really just the best advice I got from my father. Best advice I got from my father, or one of the best advice was, it doesn't matter who's buying and who's selling. It's the connection that matters. It's the human connection. So when you're out selling something, you feel much better about that because you make it just a conversation. And I think the best salespeople already know this in their souls, that they just love people and they just want that feeling. And I think that's always helped me whenever I had to sell something. I thought that was really valuable. He's done he's told me some other great things along the way, and always had good judgment, and always really, kept me along the track. He thinks that occasionally I'm still going way off the track, but he kind of grounds me. He's very good at that. So childhood stories, there are just too many because I've had a wild life.
Okay. In terms of the...
And very full life, too. I've done a lot of things, I've seen a lot of things, I've gone through many different experiences, fun, scary, life-threatening, all of those, so that I appreciate life.
Now, your favorite investment?
Well, I've got to say that my favorite investment is probably Baidu. Although Hotmail, no, maybe it's Hotmail, because Hotmail did something for people, and I had such a big impact on Hotmail because of creating viral marketing. Hotmail did something for people that could really never be replicated. It opened the world up for communications. Before that, I don't know if you're not old enough to know this, but how hard it was to communicate with somebody in another country. I mean, no wonder they used to have wars. It's like you couldn't communicate. It was very difficult. You had to write something on paper and seal it up and lick poison and send it in a car to a plane to another car. It was a long way, and it was very inconsistent.
Expensive.
Yeah, and inconsistent. And then when these guys at Hotmail came up with free web-based email, it was a real breakthrough, but we had to figure out how to spread it. And so when I came up with viral marketing, and it worked, it spread to so many people around the world, suddenly I realized we allowed all the people of the world to communicate for free. That was amazing. So I've got to say, I guess that one probably had the biggest impact. I think Skype since then has made it even better because we can see each other, we can talk to each other, we can see each other anywhere in the world for free. And then, you know, I think Baidu has allowed all of China, at least, and some of Japan to surf and search and have all the information they need at their fingertips and have it be referenceable and all of that valuable information being available to all those people, that had a big impact too.
Now, the other impact you're trying to do by having Draper University open up recently, like a few years back, and why you had this idea and what kind
Well, there were people that always said entrepreneurship can't be taught, and I thought, how would it be taught? If I had to teach entrepreneurship, how would I teach it? And then I thought, sometime I've got to do that. And it was a great time. I was looking at potentially buying a hotel, and I thought, you know, this could be the time when I can prove that entrepreneurship can be taught, or maybe can't. But, and then I thought, well, how would you teach entrepreneurship, or how would you teach heroism? How do you get people thinking, I am a hero, I can be a hero? And the way you do it is nothing like the way school is taught today. You put these people out there, you make them do things, not just sit and learn and regurgitate. You make them do things, you make them fail. You make them get up in front of the class, you make them go through survival training, you make them pitch a venture capitalist for 2 minutes, you make them do a whole variety of very difficult, awkward, strange things so that when they come out, they can be a hero. They can overcome that peer pressure thing that happens in high school or, you know, when you're a teenager. They can lose face and gain it back. They can figure out what they're really good at and what other people are really good at and how to work together with people. We're team-based. Because if you're an entrepreneur, you don't do it alone. You really need a team. And if it's a team of you or 2 people, they feel like they can't accomplish anything. And if it's 10 people, people can hide. So we make them teams of 5 or 6. So we're still, and we change it every time. Every class is different at Draper University. We never see the same, you know, the same group of speakers. We never see the same. It's never quite the same survival training. It's never quite the same. We keep refreshing it so that everybody knows that expect the unexpected.
And I noticed that you already have successful stories out of your graduates of, what is it, 8 or 10 weeks program. And you could see them on cover of magazines. They continue with their business ideas.
Yeah, we've got one, Surbi Sarna, who is fantastic, this wonderful Indian woman who created a camera that can go up the fallopian tube and not damage the fallopian tube. Never been done before. It can discover cancer, it can do a number of different things in the fallopian tube. And she's gotten funding and she's off to the races and she's built this thing and it's gone into some humans, so it's really exciting. Going to save some lives. But she was on the news, and it was because she found a shark on the land
And save
and
it.
saved it, brought it out into the ocean. And I think that without going through Draper University of Heroes, she might not have thought to go save the shark. Anyway, she saved a shark, brought the thing out. It was, anyway, it swam away, and we have another shark in the water as a result.
And then it's humanity, also teaching humanity and always helping other companies and people.
And sharks.
And sharks, yeah. They're ready for Shark Tank, I guess. That's another things here. And I noticed that one of the company, Box, doing very good. That's one of your...
A lot of great companies in our portfolio. Box is terrific. That was brought to us and driven by Josh Stein, and he has done a great job. He's a great partner, and really appreciate all the work he did on Box. And Aaron Levy is just a brilliant entrepreneur, really making great things happen.
I think he got mature in like 3 years. I'm watching him very quickly. I think in 3 years he probably done work of 30 years of life.
As an entrepreneur, you get to see a lot, do a lot that you wouldn't get to do if you were just, a cog in the wheel.
Now, and of course, one of my last questions or wishes, what you would wish this time to our listeners and viewers?
Well, I think the things that I really care about right now are, I want government to start providing service commensurate with what they charge to all of us. And I want them to start recognizing that they need to do that. They need to operate. If you were a business and you provided service as bad as like California has provided to us for the last 10 years, you'd be out of business. And that's the way it should be with government. A bad government should be changed over, or should be improved one way or another. And it should be more efficient, and it should be better, more responsive, and it should not be dictating everything. It should be a two-way street. I think that, and that's where 6 Californias is the beginning of that. The other thing I think that your listeners and viewers should, I would like them to come away with is, well, if you're 18 to 28, come to Draper University of Heroes, or try our online school. I think those two things are both terrific. And then when you're starting, after you've been through that and you're starting your business, come to Draper Associates, and then Draper Fisher Jurvetson once it's grown to be big enough for a real bigger round. So I guess that's what I would tell your viewers. So go do that.
All right, and keep yourself busy for the good of the world.
Thank
just
you,
like
Olga.
Jim.
These interviews are always the most interesting.
Thanks.